Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Sonya Stripling, and welcome to another testimonial of someone who is doing it big. Now, Tammy Gray has been here before, but she was here before when she became a certified life coach and had all of those big wins. And now Tammy's about to share this story of the success she's had as a speaker. So I'm so excited to share this woman with you. But before we get started, you are in for a treat because there's something about her smooth, calm voice that makes you just lean in and want to listen. But she is a powerhouse. So for those of you who don't know this amazing, beautiful woman, I welcome you and I introduce to you Tammy Gray. Hey, Tammy, how are you?
Hey, Dr. Sonya, I am well. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. So where are you exactly right now? Where are you located? What state?
I am in the great state of Texas. I'm in a little city called Addison, which is about maybe 15, 20 minutes from Dallas. So I am born, bred, raised right here, deep in the heart of Texas, as they say.
Is it true everything is big in Texas?
Oh yeah, it's big, it's bold, it's all of that.
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I wanted to really kind of shed some light on what it is you do and all the amazing things that you've been able to do in a very short period of time. So before we get started, kind of share with everyone what it is that you do and who it is that you serve and you help as a coach.
I am now a certified life coach, relationship coach, and my service is there's a myriad of services, but I really want the focal point to be on relationships, whether it be married, in a relationship, engaged, just to kind of bridge that gap with communication with folks.
So kind of share why that area in relationships, because that was my heart years ago. That's where I started out coaching and things of that nature. So why did you select in the area of marriage, single, engaged, and things like that? And especially with communication, which is something that is needed.
My parents, I am probably a dying breed. Both of my parents, I have my original parts of mom and dad. And this year they will be celebrating their 52nd wedding anniversary. That's a long time to be with one person on purpose.
I always say when people, but I always say that's a lot of washing some dirty drawers.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And when you see people like them and my grandparents that have been together for so long through everything that your vows say, through thick and thin and hell and high water, you want to be a part of the bigger picture. And so my husband and I, this year will be our 21st anniversary. I know, original parts, right? And I think that it's really important, especially now with 2020 and the whole vision and all that stuff. I think it's really important for couples to be able to utilize their vows with the thick and the thin and the hell and the high water, because it's not a joke when people say in these uncertain times, in these challenging times, because whatever your religious preference is, I for a fact know that Satan is trying to destroy families, husbands and wives, and turning spouses against each other. And I think that's really, really important that we adopt a different culture during these uncertain times.
So Tammy, kind of talk about, it was the coaching side and you started that. And I remember again, just the eye opener and the things you were able to see of making the shift and doing it in, I would say, at the next level for sure. So kind of talk about really what has Women Speak and Grow Rich done for you and some of the tips and tools that you were given that really help you get on these platforms that you're getting on now.
Well, I can honestly say there are several things that happen. With the coaching part, number one, first and foremost, is it didn't have to be perfect. you just had to do something and start somewhere. And I know for women like me, the overthinkers, the over perfectionists, I was getting in my own way. I was wanting to make sure that a website was put together. I wanted to make sure I had business cards. And, I just thought, okay, if it worked for Dr. Sonya, for her to say, I stumbled into my next level, she's laying everything out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Listen, learn, and apply. Do exactly what she did. And so I started just contacting people and emailing people. And, you do know I'm certified now. That situation. Whereas people think the word certification means something that it didn't mean. And going through the coaching and now in the Speak and Grow Rich, I had everything I needed. I just needed the courage to move forward. And being involved with the amazing women on this platform basically said, girl, you got this. Go do it. Quit procrastinating and just go do it. And to have someone be successful in what they're teaching, I can't help but to be right.
Yeah.
So that played a big part with not only the speaking, but the coaching part. Because you don't know what you don't know. And when it's laid out in front of you.
And that's the part, pause right there for a second. So that's the part, you hear people say that part right there, when it is so simple. I never said easy, but Tammy was more, this is so simple. Here's the step-by-step guide to do this. And you said it's laid out before you. And what do you think even for you, what do you think was the missing piece before you even joined Women Speak and Grow Rich? What was the missing piece for you?
Realizing that I was already successful. Mm-hmm. Realizing that people wanted to hear what you had to say because you've already gone through it. The question that you answered for everyone, what makes you qualified to speak on what you're speaking about? And it was relationship, it was marriage. I mean, my husband and I, we're combining a blended family. So it's not just he and I, it's a bonus kid for him. It's a bonus kid for me. It's in-laws. It's bringing a whole bunch of people together to say, we're going to conquer the world together, one person at a time in 2 different families. And I think that the confident level where you see people and you hear people in a myriad of backgrounds say, this is what I didn't have going on, but this is what I really got going on. And it just gave you that confidence to see, you know what, take your seat at the table. Matter of fact, bring the table.
Exactly. I love that. It's like, well, we're just going to set up our own little table here. Because, Tammy, you and I have spoken about this, and I even talk about it in the group. A lot of times, you mentioned about the confidence. We lack that confidence to think, well, am I qualified? And I know one of the biggest conversations I know we just had, because there are a lot of doctors. There are a lot of professional women. There's a lot of, we have stay-home moms. We have all of that. And I know the biggest thing I really wanted to share, and even with the women that are watching this right now, it is not about your education.
Yeah.
And you think that, I'm going to get this speaking event now. If you're a surgeon, you're talking to other surgeons. Yes, absolutely. But a lot, especially you, and I'll say that, when it comes to relationships, it's something that like the back of your hand, not perfection. Yeah.
Right.
But teaching other women and couples that really be able to communicate is key. And now you get the opportunity as you're getting booked all these events. And I remember being in there, you're like, I just got this. And everybody was sitting back like, oh my God, what is she doing over there? Well, she's doing the work. Yeah. Right? I won't even do WORK. It's WERK. Really working this for sure. So kind of tell us some of the things from the system that you were given, the opportunities. You don't have to say the name and all of that, but just remember that list, because I couldn't even write fast enough. And it was like one after another. How many speaking opportunities with the system that you were able to book in a short period of time?
I will say within the last 30 days, 5 paid speaking engagements. And when I say 5 paid, I shared with you that, most of the platforms that I was using, they give you a gift card or, thank you, or free, or, you're my friend. But this is a 4-figure paid speaking engagements where in the coaching, when you start talking about the money, I thought, nobody's going to pay me that much money. So I asked for it. And when people, when I start emailing people and they're like, so this is what our budget is, I was like, what?
I love it.
What do you mean this is what your budget? Y'all had a budget for me? What? Really? So it was mind blowing, and the budget wasn't $1,000 budget. It wasn't a $2,000 budget. And when I'm using the same platform, different companies, y'all want me to talk? Really?
Yes.
You're gonna pay me for it? And you send me a deposit? What?
But see, just think about, and you can kind of share how it was before. And because this is one of the biggest mistakes I truly believe that as speakers, because Tim, let me say this. There are so many speakers right now, especially with COVID-19 when it came into place, that people had to make a shift, right? Yeah. Or some didn't make the shift. Let's just be honest, Tammy, some people didn't make the shift. I personally know people who were speakers and that's all they did. They traveled and spoke, and I just like, oh, that's so cute. And like, oh, I'm traveling here to speak and I'm traveling there and all of that. And I'm sitting here like, okay. 90% of them had no back-end product or service. They have nothing to offer. They were just, I'm going to go to corporate. I'm going to do all this, which was great. However, they forgot the part, or they didn't know, shall I say, Tammy, that back end of that. What do you offer? And so now, not only did you learn how to get yourself booked on stages, you had the script to know what to say instead of that long on there. You have something short and sweet to send out to them to say hello, and they're responding back, and they tell you what their budget is. You're like, wait a minute, are you kidding? Yeah. But some people don't even know, even when you get on those stages, what happens afterward is so much more powerful. But go ahead, you were finishing about when they sent you the budget and you didn't have to tell them what yours was. They told you what they had.
Yeah, and what I have learned with the Women Speak and Grow Rich program is to stop discounting my worth. Because I did. Because when I looked at the different venues, I'm thinking, maybe they can't afford it, or they're just getting started, or something like that. And I remember you saying it. I remember my husband saying it. It's like, you know what, Tam? You've got a lot to offer, and you bring quite a bit to the table. Trust what you bring. And when I started thinking about all the videos and all the webinars that you had done, and one of the things that you said was, you are Michelle Obama. That's your focal point. I tapped into my Dr. Sonya mode, and it's either you can afford me or you can't. And that's not being cocky, but I realized going through this course, I am worth it.
Yes.
I am worth it. And I know with the research and the statistics and all the background that I do to present something in a bold package, well, yeah, if I tell you it's free, that's what you're going to give me. Mm-hmm. But if I tell you this is what I have to offer, this is what your audience is going to get from me.
I love
that. I'm still mind blown that where have you been all of my life to just be able to say, look at all what you missed, Tammy, because you did not ask. You did not value what you brought to the table to get paid for it. And once again, it's not about the money. It's about what I can bring, how I can help an individual get over life hiccups in a relationship, because you don't have to have a lot of life hiccups to have a successful relationship.
Absolutely. And so, Tammy, let's kind of talk through like when you first started? So I always have just some of the okay, let's just think about some people when we get to investments, and let's be honest, you know, you deal with it too, and when folks first come and you're saying, hey, this is the investment, and it's very, to me, it's very simple because it's a no-brainer. It is like if we have monopoly money right now, and or just money period, and I say I have $100 in my hand and you have $20 in your hand, and I say, Tammy, no, let's say I'm gonna have $1,000 in my hand. You have $20. Tammy, I want to give you this $1,000, but first you have to give me that $20 in order for you to get the 1,000. Now, when I paint that picture, it sounds, of course, I'm gonna give you this 1,000. Girl, you're like, girl, give me that $1,000. Here's my 20. But when it comes to really, and it's the same thing, but what happens is people don't realize that when you invest in yourself, you're investing to get that $1,000 or that $5,000 or that $10,000. Many don't think about it like that. So what would you say when you first started and you're like, the investment is what? Because you went from one program to the next, like, I am not stopping. I'm on a momentum. I'm on this journey. What was your thought? Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to invest. Even with the coaching, what was the thought, honestly, with the price points and where you had to invest to get to where you are now?
I can honestly say when you packaged everything that you were going to be offering first within the coaching program, I thought, okay, I've heard this from other people before. You're going to do this and you're going to do that and blah, blah, blah. And there was the difference maker for me with the coaching. Everything that you were offering, I went back years to see that you were walking in your talk. And that made a difference to me because there's so many programs that are out, you know, do this for free and do this for this and do this for this, but I didn't see where they walk the walk or talk the talk.
That's big. That's good.
And when you put the presentation up there and you said, you know what, and you talk about the lean in, you said, you know, what would your family have to lose if you don't do this? And I thought, oh my, what have we already lost because I hadn't done it? And when you put the price tag on our Bentley, I thought, okay, I can either continue to drive the Toyota, which Toyotas are amazing vehicles. That's not what I want. I want a Bentley. I had to suck it up. And I talked to my family and I'm like, look, this is where we are. This is where we could be. And my husband said, you know, babe, I trust you.
I love that.
And you've been serving so many people.
Right there is, it just, I don't think, let me pause right here because I know that somebody is watching right now and they are really thinking about, I think about what you said, and this is after being married for 18 years and, you know, being divorced and now single. But I think about those women that I talk to, like yourself, that are married. And then when they have a conversation, or even before we even talk, it should be a conversation that is taking place. Like, babe, right. You know, I want this. We've been talking about this. I really want this. I believe, and not in Dr. Sonya. And I remember you saying like, no, I believe in me, but I've watched her do this. So I just trust this process. And when you say your husband's like, babe, I trust you. I believe in you. That right there, Tammy, is half the battle. When you have a partner or when you are in a relationship and your partner is there and they believe in you, because this is not something you just woke up one day and like, you know what, I want to be a successful coach. Matter of fact, I want to step on stages and share my message. He should have heard this long before I came along, right?
Yeah. And he had,
Right.
he's been the one that has driven me to different speaking engagements. And he's like, okay, babe, you did great, and this and this and this. And he's like, why are you so down? Why are you so sad? And I'm like, well, I got a Bath and Body Works basket.
I'm sorry.
And he went, we drove all the way to Houston, all the way to San Marcos for a what? I'm like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. And so when you laid it all out there, and you laid it out and you put the bow on it, and then you walked away. You said, here's a gift. It's bowed up. Now it's up to you to decide whether you want to open the gift or not. I'm not going to beg you to open the gift. I want you to enjoy the gift, but you're going to have to do the work. I'm not tracking you down. I'm not hunting you. I'm not calling you if you're not there. I'm not doing any of that. And the skin in the game, girl, when I hear that now, I'm like, oh, y'all better put some skin in that if you want to be successful. Because it's actually true. You have a gift that has been packaged up by the individual who selected the gift, who selected the paper, the bow. And you know what? I already know that you're going to be able to use this gift over and over and over and over again.
And over and over and over and
yes,
over.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep going, for sure.
And the gift was, this is what the price tag is. I had a clutch my pearl moment.
I know.
And when I called Chris, when I called my husband, he said, babe, you're worth it. I've been telling you that for years. But if Dr. Sonya said it, maybe it sounded different.
That's funny.
Just do it. And he says, it's just like our girls. If you say something, they may or may not agree with it. But when he says something, they're like on board, like it's the best thing. And he said, sometimes you have to hear that you are worth more from someone else. And I'm okay with that. Get the work done. And, it brought tears to my eyes when he said, I've known you're worth it. I need for you to know that you're worth it. And I messaged you and you said, this is what the deal is. I'm practicing fair housing. This is what I told everybody else. This is what I'm going to tell you. Here you have it. This is your gift. And I paid for my gift. I opened my gift and now I'm using it. And even with yesterday's team call, I was just sitting and I was like, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long? And one of the things I want to point out too is in these uncertain times, COVID-19, people losing their jobs, people being furloughed, trying to figure out what it is that they're going to pay. We as women, we as a people, we pay for what we want to pay for. There's no gray area. It's either black and white. You're either going to pay for this purse that you really want or you're going to pay your cell phone bill. But we make choices based off what we really, really, really want. And it doesn't matter the cost. And if I can say I have one pair of red bottom shoes, that shouldn't impress you. The fact of the matter is I had to put skin in the game to get them. And with this program, with it, and I have to be honest with you, I'm looking at all the different programs that you had and I'm thinking, okay, I can jump into this one, I can get into this one. And for you to say, this is not about me taking your money. This is not about paying for another program to get Dr. Sonya rich. I'm going to do it with or without you guys.
Did I say that?
But you know what? You said it, but it's a conversation that can be mimicked, even with myself. I can say, yeah, I really want to do the speaking engagement, but they're only offering this amount of money when I told them this was the amount. I have the capability now thank Dr. Sonya. Thank you, God, for sending her my way to say, well, that's not what we discussed, or that's not what the price point is. And I'm not going to discount my value any longer. And that's what it was boiling down to.
You know what, Tammy, what happens, and you brought up a great point, that a lot of, I would say, speakers, again, that are out there are discounting. A lot of doing free. You know how many women I've spoken to that have been speaking. I remember a couple of years ago, and I can't remember her name, and I remember they brought me in as a consultant just to have a conversation. And the idea, they thought, you know, I was going to coach her under their program. I was like, no, that's not how I do business. But I heard this woman say she had done probably 50 events the year prior. She had paid her own way. She had paid on some of the opportunities to be on the stage, which I am not against at all. They have all the people in the room and I have to pay to show up. Hey, why not? Because if they're my ideal clients in the room, I know what's going to happen at the end of the day. When I drop the mic and walk away, I know what happens. But she wasn't making any money. And she was literally in tears because high-level executive was a high-level executive, retired just to do speaking, and she really wanted to make this work. And I remember, this was probably 2 years ago, and I remember asking her, and I leaned in like I normally do, I'm sorry, what's your back end? Do you have a coaching or consulting program? She's like, a what? I was like, excuse me? I'm sorry. I clutched my pearls. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me that you're on these platforms and you're speaking and you're doing all this and you're dropping the mic all day long, but nobody's dropping anything in your hand to pay for anything? I said, ma'am, you have this confused. You're doing old school way. Old school 2 years ago, old school even more in 2020. And Tammy, this is the biggest thing, and you and I can talk about it. I know I've been sharing it in the group, and all of that is about many women are thinking right now, there are no speaking opportunities. Yours just happened a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago. You got these events that you were booked for. Even during a pandemic, people are still looking for speakers. And the best thing about it, Tammy, guess what? They're happening online. And some women are missing. Like, I never thought about that. Those that are not online, you better get used to it, because this is going to be the wave of the future for sure. And so, Tammy, what would you say to a woman that was on the fence or really thinking about starting, launching, building her speaking platform? What would you say to her right now? And what should she do? What are 3 things you would say she should do?
I would say, number one, finally make a decision that you're worth it. Number one, first and foremost, make a decision that you are worth it. Number 2, just do it. You don't have to overthink it. If it's something that has been embedded deep within you to do, you don't have to overthink it. Kind of like you said, I didn't wake up this morning and say, I think I want to get my coaching and my speaking up and launched. And my husband's like, well, I thought you were going to be doing something else. So, if it's something that you've been thinking about, where people need to hear what it is that you have to say, what you have to bring to be a better them, don't cheat them out of it. Just do it. Make a decision and just do it. And number 3, don't overthink it. Just literally do not stop doubting what it is that you have to offer, and just literally do it. And I say that from a working class home. My husband is a coast-to-coast truck driver. I'm a leasing manager at a community for a multifamily community. And so, everyday chick that wants to make a difference in the world. And like I said, it's one couple at a time that I'll make that happen. Whereas when I leave, I won't just be a great mom and that gave the shirt off her back and all this. I want people to be able to say, that chick saved my marriage. She saved my relationship with my boyfriend, with my kiddos, to make a big, big difference. And that would be my 3 right up top. Just do it. Make it happen.
And how do they make it happen, though? Because many people are trying to make it happen alone. They are out there spinning their wheels. I was Miss Google Mania. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to go on here. I'm going to figure it out. Because no one ever asked me to have skin in the game. They didn't. Not at the beginning. but along the way I had to learn because it wasn't something I was raised with. I wasn't raised with, oh, if you want to learn something, go get a coach or somebody. We go to school.
That's right.
We'll go to school, we'll invest, we'll get, pay that tuition. You know how many women that are out there right now have student loans out the yin yang that are in careers, and I'm shifting just for a second, but I'm gonna get back to that have college tuition out there. And when you ask, and this is a passion that they want, well, oh, I got student loans and I have this, and working careers right now, or work in a job that they didn't get a degree in, but you are still paying for that degree. And this is what I tell folks is when you're looking at this whole world of coaching, becoming a coach and helping other people in a particular area based on what you've been through, and then coming over and sharing that very message. It's one message to millions, and sharing that from stage. It's a no-brainer because the return on the investment, if you do the work, and I said if, and when you do the work, game changer. A young lady just the other day, she said $150,000 in student loans. And I said, let's come up with a game plan so you can go ahead and cancel that out, because being on these platforms, creating your consulting business, and she is on her way to taking care of that in record time. So what would you say, those that are out there Googling, trying to figure things out, what do you recommend that they do now, like right now?
As much time, as much energy, and little drops of $50 here, $30 there, $100 there, print this, probe this. You could have had everything situated by now. And that's the way I looked at it, because I did try to Google it, how to speak and grow rich, how to do this, how to do that. And it gave me pamphlets, it gave me this, it gave me that. And then when I look at how much money I have spent, but I'm still in the same situation, it only literally made sense. And the other thing is, stay focused. I know with in these times, one of the things that I was concerned with, nobody's going to hire a speaker right now. Nobody's, Tammy, what have you really done now that the excitement, you've started now, it's almost like taking, if you have a dog or a cat, trying to get them bathed. It's like, they follow you around all day, and then when you pick them up to put them near the sink, they're like, no. But sometimes, even if you're by yourself, even if you're single, you have to make that investment in yourself for the longevity of what you're trying to do. You just have to, whether you make a phone call and say, look, this is what I have, this is what I'm trying to do. You got to look, what I've learned are there's two of the most flakiest people you'll ever deal with in life. That's your friends and some of your family. And in order for you to be successful, you're going to have to encounter people that don't have a hidden agenda for your future self. My husband and I started a business almost 25 years ago. And I can tell you now, there were some people that, she's successful because I ordered that for her. She's this because I did that. And I'm thinking, no, but if that's what's going to make you feel better, you have to set aside a plan. This is the course that I'm going to take. This is how much it's going to cost. And it ain't cheap. Yeah. However, it's worth it. And you're worth it to be the best you ever. Who would benefit from Coach Tammy Gray being the best that she could possibly be?
That's powerful right there. That right there, my dear, gave me chills of knowing when Tammy steps up, when she did and got to that level, and all of the thousands, it was said, and I'm thinking of the name, you can come, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. Mm-hmm. And when I hear that, and I didn't even know that she said it. Help me with the name because it just escapes me. I'm so sorry. Our latest and greatest, she left this earth probably a year or two ago, and it is, yeah, Maya Angelou said that I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. That's exactly what you just said. The very same thing. You come as one. We're trying to figure this thing out as we go, but I know I have this passion. I know I have this drive. I know I want to serve people to the highest level, but I also at the same time want to bring my husband home. I also want to leave a legacy. I want to be able to share my story, not just my story, but my message with the world, because I have something to say, and it needs to be said. And so when you said that, just thinking about those 10,000 women that you will affect, and couples and families that you will affect, but it won't just be one at a time, is you becoming the best you that you've ever been. Starting your business, launching your business, and putting it out there. And you're going to touch other, because it's going to be teach one, pass it on. Teach one, not the puff, puff, give. Teach one, pass it on, right? And that's exactly what happened. So Tammy, thank you so much for sharing your experience throughout the coaching and the speaking. You know, many people want some remnant of this. They want to be able to generate those 4-figure weeks on just speaking. You haven't even done anything yet. They've already paid it in advance, and then you get on that platform, and now you even get more, income, influence, and impact in the room. So thank you so much for being an example for others to follow. More so they just don't think this is just for me, because this is not just for me. This is for women like yourself that really know that it's time, and that you're serious about it. You're not curious. That's my new motto. If you're serious about this, not curious, because curiosity, it's not serious. It's like, I'm not going another day. I cannot sleep. It's like waking me up all the time. I got to do this, and I got to do it now. And God forbid we leave this earth. How will you leave? And I don't know about them. I know about you and I. We are leaving here absolutely empty, because we're going to put everything out there that we were supposed to do, write the books we were supposed to write, be on those platforms, help the people we were supposed to help. So when we go to our grave, we are dying empty and not full. Right. So Tammy, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. And I know I'll see you at the top for sure, my dear.